Let your mind ride your breath. Let it take the shape of the mantra. So with the incoming breath, hum with the outgoing breath. Take a gentle breath in and we will chant Om together 3 times. Om. 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 Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Namaste and welcome. So those who haven't got their videos on, please put your videos on. I love to see your divine faces. I've already. So today we are going to first, always as usual, begin with the exercise for the week. Now the question was, give 2 examples of the obstacles in the path to which you either succumbed or succeeded. Now the reason why the obstacles were not mentioned was because hopefully you would have remembered them. So have you practiced the last class that we studied, and those 2 obstacles in the path to equanimous mind and to perform karma yoga were raga and dvesha. These were the 2 paripanthinos, 2 boulders on your pathway. So either you have succumbed to them or you have succeeded in pushing the boulders away so that you can overpower the gunas and come to a stage where everything becomes meaningful. So I want to know which of you is going to volunteer to answer. And the other 2 are still become parda bibis or whatever it's called. They are wearing burqa. So please uncover yourselves. There are 2 more who are covered.
Ma'am, I'm Pushkal, Yogita's brother. I'm here just to set up the Zoom. I'm not attending the class. And the other person is from my office who's also for the Zoom, not for the class, in case of any technical difficulties.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Right. Welcome, Pushkal. You might like to hear as well. Okay. So let's hear from Badri. Is he ready?
Yeah. My biggest obstacle that I face is gluttony. So I like to eat a lot, and that's when probably that control thing doesn't. So I tried many times, especially I work late, so I always like to munch a lot. So that's a big thing that I'm trying to battle internally.
Okay, that's a big boulder. I agree. So did you succeed at least a little bit? 5%, 10%?
Once in the last 7 days, yes.
Okay. And that is the attraction or the craving that you are trying to overcome. Now, for that craving, you should withdraw a little bit your mind and find out where the craving arises. It arises below the surface of thoughts, and it gives rise to sensations first. So that sensation you have to observe. Here I will give out the secret of Vipassana, which you can learn if you do it. But Guru Goenka ji used to say, Shirin, मैंने बहुत भगवत गीता पढ़ी, लेकिन होता नहीं ना. So that is why he did Vipassana and he became such a great guru. But we can learn the secret from him, and we can practice it and we can practice our Bhagavad Gita, because the fund of knowledge, the abundance of knowledge that we can acquire from it is phenomenal. So Raga and Dvesha, they create a certain sensation. Just become observant of your sensation. Then wait for the sensation to ascend to a crescendo. At a point when you are going to grab something, there is a different level of that sensation. Wait a little bit and you will find that it starts to descend. It cannot remain forever. That's the best part of sensations. They keep changing. They keep changing. We don't learn how to observe sensations, otherwise we can tackle them. So even if anger arises, it gives rise to a certain sensation first. So, like Sri Krishna said in the last class, that what use is Indriya Nigraha, because even the sage is pushed by his three gunas. And then he suggested that the only way would be that you get over these two big obstacles, Raga and Dvesha. Now, when we do this, these two big obstacles, how can we tackle them? This way, by knowing where they arise, and then by withdrawing to that point of sensations, and then to have the patience to wait. Now, when you don't have the patience to wait, there is another little trick. The other little trick is get to the breath in that case. What are we doing our meditation every day? Every time we meet, we first relax our body, then we concentrate on the breath, then we align the mind, breath, and body together. So that is how you have to go stepwise. When you go stepwise, you will notice that that which seemed kind of insurmountable becomes fairly controllable. And the other trick I would advise would be that before you sit down to work itself, do this 3-minute meditation. Do the 3-minute meditation several times, even in the day. And you will be able to withdraw from the body-mind complex, which you are not. You are the witness of that, because you can see it. You can see that the desire is arising. Where does the desire arise? In the mind, not in the body. The body is innocent. The senses are also innocent. But the mind is pushing them to grab whatever is pleasant, but not which is good. That means shreyas and prayas. So that which is pleasing and that which is good are two different things. But Once you practice that which is good, that is Shreyas, suddenly it becomes very pleasant. And this Prayas becomes unpleasant, which was Prayas prior. So we have to get there. That's going to be our aim. So now we'll just continue, just to recap. The chapter 3, we started with Arjuna's question that why are you goading me to this gory act of war when you are also extolling the Jnana Marga for liberation? And I want to get liberated. I don't want to enter this war. So then, of course, Sri Krishna explains to him that this whole chapter is about the Pravrutti Marga and the Nivrutti Marg. Nivrutti is the one of renunciation, and you give up everything and concentrate only on meditation and on the goal. And Pravrutti Marg is that which you do your daily action, take part in the world, but not be of it. And how can we achieve that? How can we achieve that? It is far more challenging. And it also depends on the aptitude of the person. So if Arjuna thought, suppose for a moment, that Sri Krishna said, okay, go to the cave, sit down and meditate. Do you think Arjuna could have done it? Obviously, his is the Pravrutti Marg because he has got so much of Rajoguna in him. That guna, which is dynamism, which is active, which pushes you or provokes you to do action, to attain something or the other. And if that is channelized towards sattva, towards the right goal, he is bound to attain it. Because sattva alone by itself is not enough. It has, after all, to have some momentum to continue. And tamo guna, of course, is absolutely the reverse, because it will be taking you down to ignorance, to lethargy, and to maybe even addictions. That is what is tamo guna. It tries to forget its problems. And the high that you get from food is somewhat of an addiction. So we have to notice that, and we have to transform that addiction to something divine. And we can do it. It is not impossible. So coming back to these gunas that are sattva, raj, and their permutation combinations are at work during our talking, during our thinking, during our walking. You will see there is somebody who walks with a spring in their step, however old they might be. There are others who just, twaddle, even if they are young. And there are still others who are of balanced speed. So we are not talking only about talking. We are talking about all our actions. And there the gunas are at work in every field, in whatever we do. So if these gunas are at work, we have to tackle them. We have to tackle them at that level of these two obstacles, raga and dvesha, and thereby try to jump over these obstacles like hurdles. I was reminded of the hurdle race when I thought of it. Either you can jump over them or you can create a bypass. And I feel that the bypass is the easier way, and the bypass happens with knowledge. With the knowledge that these two are, I've become the slave of my craving and the slave of my aversion. How can I make them my slave? That is the question you have to ask. And usually the guru within you will answer that. So these verses, then Sri Krishna gave us the examples of Janaka and of himself, that how they perform action, due to which none of the actions that they perform ever touch them. That means that they are nirlipta. They are untouched by the fruit of that action. They are untouched by the anxiety or the stress of performance. That is the important thing. And they can live in a very balanced way. So he explains that this whole world, this whole universe, in fact, is moving on the principle of yajna. So we learned something about what a yajna is, what is an offering, how we should live our life. And in the next chapter also, we will learn a little bit more about yajna. And then we will understand how every action of ours is nothing but a worship of the Lord, howsoever you are doing it. Then when you know that it is a worship of the Lord, will you be offering him junk food? Will you be offering him crumpled paper? Every time you put a morsel into your mouth, ask yourself and offer it. Offer it to the Lord. Why? Why do I say offer it to the Lord? Where is the Lord? I can't find him, you will say. At least you should. You should ask this question. Where is this God that you talk about? I can't find him. I put something in front of the statue and it remains exactly how it is. So, the Lord that you are worshipping is within you. Hridaya Tishtati. The Sri Krishna is within you, the divinity within you. When you offer food to yourself, you are offering food to the divinity in you. You must remember that. And when we do Naivedya, it is in a very subtle form that it is accepted by the divinity that is in. I mean, there's no place where divinity is not. There is only God, really. There really is nothing else. Only God is. Therefore, whatever we do is being done also by God. The illusion is that I am performing, good or bad. And that's the illusion that we have to, in the Vedanta, there is usually a analogy given of a rope and a snake, that in a dimly lit road, you see a rope and you think it's a snake. It's an illusion, right? And when the light is brought, you find, oh, it's only a rope. But can that illusory snake bite you? You have to think, contemplate. Certainly it can bite you because you are also an illusion. You have projected that illusion. You can even die of that illusion. So be careful. Bring the light into whatever you are doing and thinking, because your belief is your experience. It's your belief that causes the experience, not the other way around. So there are many courses which can teach you that, but we'll proceed now with the Gita. So we are on shloka number 36, which is Arjuna's question, chapter 3. Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. He asks very, frustratedly, that then what is it that pushes us to do this papa? These people, even though they do not wish to do it, anichannapi. Now, impelled by what, Krishna? Does this man commit sin, even involuntarily, as though driven by force? Arjuna is well aware that in spite of knowing the right path, many times we waver and, as if compelled by some unknown force, actually engage in unwholesome activity. What do we tell ourselves? Just this once. I'll do it just this once. Next time, I won't do it. Yeah, if you're smoking or any other addiction or whatever. Are if it is wrong, it's wrong this once also, no? If it is something you want to get over, you have to get over it this once also, no? So this one is no excuse. So in Marathi, there is a phrase, "Kartay pan vadat nahi." This is Arjuna's question, that we understand, but we can't perform. We can't do it. So he is wondering, what is that force that might be, and it feels necessary to ask his beloved Sri Krishna, the all-knowing one. Often one feels helplessly drawn towards an action one knows is inherently wrong. Later, one even tries to justify it because we are very intelligent. There is a lawyer inside of us. You know what? There's so much stress, I can't stop eating. If I don't eat, I won't get glucose. It won't go into my brain. And I won't be able to think. Rubbish. But you can munch. You must change. You must change the food that you are taking into something that you can masticate. Because mastication is the signal to the brain of satiation. If you can't masticate that food, know for sure that you will never feel satisfied. So you have to change the food. Now, Shloka 37, Sri Krishna, of course, will answer so lovingly. He says, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajo guna samudbhavaha, Mahashano mahapapma, Vidyena iha vairinam. Know this, Vidyena, know this. Know what? To be the vaira, that to be the enemy. What is this? Kama and Krodha. Kama being desire and Krodha being anger. We all know that cascade of events which we learned in the chapter 2 and how it leads to the destruction of your memory and then your intellect and your rational power. If your desire is thwarted, Krodha, Kama and Krodha are two sides of the same coin. Therefore, you have to be very careful about what sensation is rising in you and approach it at that time. What do they lead to, this Kama and Krodha? Mahashano mahapapma. Not just ordinary pap, and not just ordinary ashno. Ashno what? Ashno is desire, insatiable. Maha. It is insatiable. And it grossly wicked. It's so beautifully described here. Grossly wicked. Not ordinarily wicked. It is grossly wicked. Maha papma it leads to. So the answer, which is quite simple and yet so profound, Sri Krishna has already explained the cause of the action, which is the gunas. In particular, Rajoguna, because it gives you the momentum to act. So it gives you the momentum to act to gratify your desires. And you want to attain those objects. And unfortunately, all our senses are outwardly pointed. It's not our fault. The Brahma himself has done this. I mean, that's how we are made. It's the rare Dhira, Kathopanishad says, who turns inwards to find the insatiable source of happiness. Not insatiable. What I mean is that which cannot be emptied at all. Unlimited source of happiness. So this, and then Sri Krishna is going to tell us in the next shloka. Dhumena vriyate vahinaha yatha darsho malena cha yatho yatha ulbena vruto garbha tatha tenedam avrutam. Means what? Just like, he gives three similes, analogies. Okay, this is getting recorded. Okay. So, as fire is covered by smoke, mirror by dust, and embryo by the amnion, so is knowledge covered by desire. This is what he is saying. Dhumena avriyate vahinaha yatha darsho malena cha. Darsho means mirror. So malena cha, with the dust. This is what, these are the three analogies. Just like smoke, when there is, you have done yajna and there is, to begin with, there is a little smoke before the fire, and that smoke, it covers the fire. You hardly know whether the fire has got lit or not. And when the mirror, forget about the dust on the mirror, that is all our samskaras, desires and everything, cover the mirror. That's not just the dust, but it also distorts the mirror. Imagine if it's a convex or a concave mirror. I'm sure you all have all gone in childhood to a house of mirrors and found how distorted your images are. Like that, it actually distorts what is the truth. And that is why this, our mind, is covered by this desire in this manner. And like the embryo, you know, in the ancient times, everything was considered impure, the fluid around the baby. In a way it is, because it is full of the urine of the baby. That is why Morarji Desai used to drink his urine. So in utero for 9 months, you are drinking your own urine. That is what the amniotic fluid is partly composed of, besides other fluids. So it was considered that it is impure, and the amniotic sac in which the fetus is naturally not transparent. Accordingly, all of these are covering the truth, and the reflection of the light that is coming, that is knowledge that is coming to the mind, is distorted. And what you believe then is that the gratification of desire is going to fulfill and get me happiness. When in fact, the reverse is the case, because gratification leads to further desires within a very short time. So I want to tell you a story over here. And that is the story of Gorakshanath and Adbhanginath. Adbhanginath was a little boy. I mean, he was hardly 12 years old, and he was minding a farm. And Gorakshanath was passing that way, and he was very tired, very hungry. And he just begged for a little water. So the little boy, he was brought up beautifully by his mother, was given a tiffin for lunch, and he said that you can't drink water on an empty stomach, so you share the food with me. And accordingly, he fed Gorakshanath and gave him water, and himself had half of the food. Now, Gorakshanath was so touched by the kindness of this little boy that he told him, ask me anything and I can give you. And the little boy was so surprised and shocked. He said, what are you going to give me? You are a beggar. He knew nothing about Gorakshanath. He said, what can you give me? You yourself are begging. So Gorakshanath said, at least you can ask and try. He said, no, no, no. Instead, you ask me something else, I will give you. So Gorakshanath said, I will ask you, but will you be able to give it? He said, you try. Of course I can give it. So Gorakshanath said, give me your mind. This boy thought, what? He's asking me for my mind. Hey, take it. And Gorakshanath left from there. But before he left, he whispered a mantra into the ear of this little boy. Now, this boy had the desire to wrap up all his things and take the cows home. Oh, he remembered. I gave my mind to that beggar. How can I act on what my mind tells me? So he stood there, and he stood there, and he stood there. Fortunately for him, the sound of the mantra started to repeat itself in his mind. And he kept apologizing to that beggar, saying that, see, I'm not doing anything. Huh? I'm not, it is happening. I can't help it. Please forgive me. I have given you my mind. His father was so worried. And he had all those things on top of his head. He was standing under the tree. It was late at night. The cows were still around. The father came shouting for his name. He couldn't find him. But when under the tree he saw him, he thought some ghost had possessed this child. So he took out those things from off his head and told him to come. The only thing he said is, I cannot. And please leave me. And the father could not even tell his mother that he has seen him, because he was so afraid that that ghost might do something to his child. He has told me not to tell. And he remained like that for years, till Gorakshanath passed by the same way. And he remembered the kindness of the little boy and what he had done. And when he went near and he saw this boy with his powers, of course, he healed him. He had become a stick and named him Adbhangi Nath, because Adbhangi means अड़ गया, अपने काम पे वो अड़ गया. So the stubborn one is Adbhangi Nath. So one day, of course, Adbhangi Nath went to his mother. All that got sorted out after years. And then he went with Gorakshanath, who was his guru. Now he realized that this is my guru. But one day he told Gorakshanath, I feel so angry with these people who are doing wrong things. Tell me, how can I control my anger? They keep on doing such wrong things. So Gorakshanath asked him just one question. Do you think you are 100% correct all the time and have no faults? Adbhangi Nath went back a bit and said, no, I also have faults. So he said, in that case, can you not focus on the good of the other person? There must be some good also, no, in the other person with whom you are angry, because these are all gunas. All the Rajo, Tamo, Sattva, Guna is present in each one of us. And they are performing these deeds and thoughts and desires and all of that. So can you not see through that? And then that cured Adbhangi Nath. So we have to get over our gunas by observing our mind and by taking this bypass route of raga and dvesha, following our sensations, making a great effort of becoming aware of our breath throughout the day, practicing 3-minute meditation several times in the day, and then these gunas cannot touch you. So now this second shloka, which we have just read, shloka number 38, which is telling you how this truth is obscured because of giving these metaphors of the smoke obscures the fire, the dust obscures the mirror, and the amnion obscures the fetus, the beauty of the fetus. So what is it that this dust, and how shall we get out this dust off our minds? And how can we at all get over desire? So shloka number 41 is telling you where jnana is the knowledge of the self and other things acquired from the shastras. Now you are listening. From a teacher. That jnana will help you to see more clearly. That which was very blurred starts to become less hazy. And slowly your own inner guru will guide you to wipe it out completely. Vijnana is the personal experience that you will have of the jnana. And now it may be asked, where should one take one's stand and cast off this desire? So shloka number 42. Indriyani paranyahu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhi yo buddhe paratastu saha. The senses, indriyani paranyahu, are greater than the body. And greater than the senses is the mind. Greater than the mind is the intellect. And what is greater than the intellect? The self. So I'll tell you a story here. I love telling stories. I was with Swami Veda Bharati studying for many weeks. And there was a Gurukulam that he was running. And there were students, and I was not a Gurukulam student, but I was present for all his lectures. So he asked a simple question, which is not simple at all. He said, give me what is Atman? And I knew this verse of the Bhagavad Gita. So I was putting my hand up, please, I want to answer. And Swami Veda indulged and he said, okay, Shirin. So then I quoted Indriyani Paranya. Oh, he said, we don't teach theory here. You're wrong. So he asked the Gurukulam students, one fellow who is a Sikh, and he was standing at the back. He said that मैं हूं. आत्मा क्या है was the question. मैं हूं की अनुभूति ही आत्मा है. The experience of I am. If I ask you, who are you? You will give me big descriptions about where you work and that you are a male or a female or that you are a mother but these are all descriptions. This is not you. But none of you have to be told that you are. What tells you that you exist? That is Atman. So here Sri Krishna is indicating what you are. Once you have that knowledge, how are you going to get rid of this ignorance, which is like the smoke, which is like the dust, which is like the amniotic membrane? Only through knowledge. And what is that knowledge? The knowledge of who you truly are. So here Eknath says, we are a composite of body, senses, intellect, and Atman. We lack harmony between all of these due to desire and lack of discipline. Once that is established, the inner journey is no distance at all. So recently I met a guru and I told him, I've been practicing and all of this. So he said, you know what? It takes a long time for the milk to boil, but to go over, how much time does it take? So this is what Sri Krishna, and this is what Eknath is also explaining. And Swami Ram says that beyond this body consciousness is the field created by sense perception. And beyond that is the subtle realm of the mind. And beyond that is the vast field of the unconscious. And beyond, even beyond this, is the Atman. In this verse, where the word para is used, which means beyond, and is the most important indication of who we truly are. So this, now we come to the final shloka of chapter 3 and then we shall close. So the chapter 3 closes with this shloka. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmatmanatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Thus, Arjuna, knowing the self, which is higher than the intellect, and subduing the mind by reason, which is in the intellect, kill this enemy in the form of desire that is hard to overcome. The word dura means hard. It is very difficult. Durga is the one who is very difficult to get at and who protects you from all evil. So Dura, so you say Duryodhana, the one who is difficult to conquer is Duryodhana in a battle. So Dur means Durasada. Durasadam means difficult to overcome. That what is difficult to overcome? This desire. So Mahabaho, that is the mighty armed one, Arjuna, with the use of your intellect. Why? Because where does ignorance reside? Like I told you, the body is innocent. Ignorance doesn't reside in the body. Ignorance resides in your intellect. And where does knowledge need to happen? In the intellect. How is it going to happen? By this reasoning, by yukti. I told you there are 3 methods of studying. Shastra, Yukti, and Anubhava. Shastra is what Bhagavad Gita is telling you. Yukti is the reasoning that you will utilize because that is what you need to find out whether these Shastras, what they say, make sense or not. And then Anubhava. That is your own experience. You try it out, you experiment, and you experience that yes, what I was taught is right indeed. Then I come to that firm conviction that it works. So the knowledge of the truth bestows freedom from fear, makes one invincible. But to be that, one needs to control the senses and always think, speak, and act with awareness. It is absolutely essential to be disciplined. Sri Krishna says, having known this truth, kill the enemy of desire and be one with the self so that delusion can no longer take hold of you. Swami Rama says, the objects of this external world constantly lead one to identify with the phenomenal world, which is constantly changing and holds our attention, with the result that we forget the unchanging, eternal self, who we truly are. So how is one to kill this formidable enemy? Just to summarize, I give you these 3 points. Number 1, no, you are the self and it is Prakriti that acts through the gunas. You have understood that. Number 1. Number 2, surrender all fruits of actions at Sri Krishna's feet and act without attachment to the and no karma will accrue. And 3, every act, word, thought should be an offering like a yajna, which then automatically frees one of bondage. And how to get over those 2 obstacles? You know now. I have given you the secret. Know, recognize where do they arise. And what is the first signal that now they are arising? See, once you're overcome with that sensation, the intellect has gone for a walk. So find out where is this arising and tackle it over there. So with that, we will complete today's class. I know it's a little early, but it's always nice to mull over, and I will be giving you an exercise for the next class, which I'll put on the WhatsApp group. So you must try, of course, you must continue to practice what you've already been asked to do. And then you have to practice some more. And you have to practice some more. And you have to give me, feedback of how you are succeeding. And doesn't matter if you're failing, because you're recognizing your failure. That itself is the first step of success. So any questions, any suggestions, any comments are most welcome. We have 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It will be nice to talk and hear you. Usually, Ujjwala will have something to say.
I hate to say it in public, but when when one is being put down or chastised, and then what do you do, even though you know that it is being wrong, you are being wronged? What do you do without reacting to it? How do you move away? I mean, you can walk out, you can do things, but it's hard, because you are in this situation permanently, unless you completely severe it.
No, true. This is the experience of everyone all the time. But what you have, see, the gunas will determine your reaction temporarily. But whether you carry, whether there is a residue or not, that residue forms a new samskara. That residue you can avoid completely by recalling the knowledge. Oh, my Rajo Guna acted in this way. And it's my raga, my dvesha to this that is doing this. But I know better, because the knowledge has come to me that I am not this mind, I am not this body, I am not even this intellect. They are my instruments. And this intellect is what is your charioteer. So it is clouded just now with ignorance. So you have to keep on polishing it and reminding it. See, nowadays, I can speak from Anubhava, that nothing remains in my brain in this, I don't know, 101.5 kilos. No doubt I still react, but the reaction is so fleeting and it leaves absolutely no residue, that I know that the mind will feel sad, the mind will feel angry, the mind will, resent something or the other. But as long as you can see it, you can separate it. There's a plane of cleavage. Once that intellect forms that plane of cleavage between the body mind as an entity with which you were so attached, and as you, as the self. What is between this intellect? Very nice. Thank God for the intellect. Shurasya dhara, nishita duratyaya. So this edge is like a razor sharp and you have to walk on it. Who's going to tell you to help you? Only your intellect is going to help you. So again and again, bringing your mind back under your control by the help of the intellect for all the knowledge that you are receiving from various quarters. And from basically it's your own inner self which is teaching you. Don't think there is any external guru at all. This is the mistake sometimes we make. We tend to give too much responsibility to the guru, when actually it is us who are responsible for everything that we learn. So this learning is depending on entirely your own grasp of the matter. How does one learn? Familiarize. Repeat, repeat, repeat. We don't pass one class.
Today I have to give you credit. I heard one thing is to find the good points and think about that person. That was very encouraging.
Yes.
Because that's what Sharda Mata did. She said, when you are upset with somebody or something, find the best in them, because everybody has something good to offer, which they always have. There's no question.
Yes. And
that was the answer to my problem. Today, I got it from your discussion. Thank you.
So I had translated this beautiful life story of Gorakshanath into English. And these stories are only from there, and I'm learning only from him. So you can give all the credit to Gorakshanath for teaching us that there is something good. There's something bad in even a sage. So that feels very encouraging. But don't look at the bad. Otherwise, you will forget the goodness. So look at the good and try to emulate it. And of course, remember the knowledge that you can separate yourself. You can separate yourself from these gunas. You can separate yourself from raga dvesha. They are arising and they are disappearing. You are not in a constant state of anger. It has been told before. See, the raga and dvesha do not continuously remain, isn't it? So you have to know that they will pass.
Yeah, but they reappear from the same raga and the same dvesha, it will reappear from time to time. But, it's very nice that when you are aware of it, it just disappears. Like last week, we had this lot of political discussions in our group, which I didn't take part in.
Yeah.
But towards the end, I was feeling, I was quite equanimous at that time. I said, I didn't even read many of the comments. But one comment was like, I became reactionary. I really felt like, I must type something. In response to this, I must write something. But then I didn't. I just kept quiet. I was just aware of the feeling and let go of it, and it just went away. So just now I remember, I succeeded in this. And of course, there are a lot of failures. Because I'm hooked on to Turkish soap these days. It is interfering very badly in my sadhana and morning, getting up in the morning and, hello?
Your comment, and I was wanting you to say it in the beginning also. You could have told us this success and failure. That's how we
I got disconnected. 1 minute. So let me just I could have, but I just kept quiet. But this success thing I remember just now. This was there. I just wanted to share it.
So even Duryodhan has said that he knows what is dharma and what is adharma, but he is impelled by some force to do the adharma. So there is a certain video which I am not sharing with anybody. I want you all to discuss yourself. Oh, hello. Hari Om. Namaste. How sweet is that little one? Okay. So
He's
now,
a Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna has come for me.
Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste. Namaste doesn't do it. It's too small.
Yeah, he's too small.
So now we shall say our prayers and close. I'm very happy giving you all my love, all the great divinity within you. Swami Ram always said, I pray to the divinity in you. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tanmi Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. Tanmi Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. Tanmi Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste and thank you everyone.
Thank you. Namaste, Shirin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shirin.
Thank you. I've already told in the beginning.